This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're in Leeds!
Mate, sorry about him. He's not used to these kinds.
Why don't you do it? Come on, do you want him to do it? Yes. Leeds!
Something like that.
Joined by Mr. Eddie Hearn. There is so much. You've just arrived there. There is so much media here, literally.
How long is it going to... I've got meetings after the presser. How long is it going to take?
Good luck with that. I reckon you're here for a good 3 hours after the presser.
You know something? I will do every single interview. Because that's what I do, baby.
Let's talk about this card. I think people looking forward to this card is a bit of an understatement because, it's what cards should be like, Edward.
Well, in an ideal world, sometimes you don't have the facilities or the resources to put cards like this together. Luckily, we do now. And I feel like people are always very critical of what we do because there are expectations from us. And that's good. I don't want you to just be happy with average stuff from us. So, you put on a card like that, you just don't see cards like this. Warrington Lara rematch, Katie Taylor against Hearn for the undisputed, Conor Benn against Granados, Straffon against Maxi Hughes, Ebanie Bridges, Hopi Price in a great fight, Jack Basin. This is a top show in front of 20,000 people in an outdoor stadium for the first time ever in Headingley. This is serious stuff, and that's what we are. We're serious people, and you like that, didn't you? I saw you smiling. And it's just a sign of things to come. If you look at this card from top to bottom, you look at the Smith-Fowler card coming up in a few weeks, top to bottom, it's just, it's on another level. And I can't wait for this Saturday. So excited. Fight Camp was just a lovely little, starter to this great project. Saturday, you will see it in full flow. You will see what we're going to start bringing you every single show. From production, from the experience, from Diamante, from Buffer, from Mike Costello to Laura Woods to Barker to Lloyd to Andy Lee and to the fights itself, because the fights are the product at the end of the day, and this is a high-end product.
Let's talk about the main event. Such a crucial fight in Josh Warrington's career. We spoke about it the other day. Got to give him credit, wanted to jump straight back in. Big pressure for him in front of his own fans in the first kind of real setting of that kind of many fans. He's got it all to do, but it's Josh Warrington all over.
It's just a fight you're going to watch through your fingers because you know what happened last time. You know that Josh, as smart as he will be in this fight, will engage and will be in moments of warfare and battle. And when he does that, it's very dangerous against Maurizio Lara because Lara just believes he's got his number. And I'll tell you something now, though. Josh Warrington is a different fighter, I believe, than he was in the bubble that time. He looks different. He's more focused. He's in unbelievable shape. I've sent him a couple of messages in the last couple of weeks just saying, and he just said to me, I think 2 days ago, it's a different night on Saturday. And in front of his people, this is it. This is probably the biggest moment of his career. I know beating Selby, but this is like a career saver right here. And it's absolute must win for him. It's dangerous, it's ballsy, it's gutsy. He's gone straight back in. He didn't want any other warm-up fight. I said to him, I think Steve Wood could do a little 10-rounder and then Maurizio Lara. No, I have to avenge his defeat. He deserves a lot of credit. It's going to be full of tension through the whole fight. The atmosphere is going to be absolutely electric. And I'm bricking it, to be honest with you, on behalf of Josh Warrington. And I think a lot of British fight fans are, because it's like, and Lara's a serious dude. He's probably a guy, Lara, that's never really had that much confidence. All of a sudden, I think he feels unbeatable, and he's going to be really dangerous.
Let's talk about Katie Taylor, obviously a mandatory defence against Jennifer Han. I've seen McCaskill floating about here as well, Jessica McCaskill. Spoke to Katie Taylor yesterday. She's going to keep getting asked about the Serrano fight until you make it, basically.
Yeah, we want to make that fight. We've wanted to make that fight for a long time. Amanda Serrano's done a great job over the last, 6 months plus of raising her profile. She has a lot more value in that fight than she did when we first discussed it. We have to get over a table and we have to negotiate the fight. And we're ready to do that. We're ready to do that at Madison Square Garden next spring. I think Amanda plans to have a fight this year. Katie will probably go again in December or January, then March or April, Madison Square Garden. That's like, there's no other fight in women's boxing that is even comparable to that fight. Katie Taylor is an absolute icon, a legend of the sport of boxing. She's got a tough fight on Saturday. Han's a former world champion herself. She's mandatory challenger. You know, this is another great stage for Katie to fight on. Leeds fan as well. Dad's from Leeds. And, you know, I'm very proud of her, and it's a great time for women's boxing. We've got a major announcement coming tomorrow for women's boxing as well. You know about that, do you? Do you? Okay. And there'll be a press conference after the weigh-in. We're extremely motivated for women's boxing. I'm so pleased that I'm seeing other promoters, not just UK promoters, but worldwide promoters now getting the message to push women's boxing. No one does it better than us, and Katie is the reason this all happened.
Conor Benn, Mr. Intense. Spoke to him yesterday. It's been a frustrating time, obviously, since what happened to him in fight camp, but that's all out the way, 2 days away. He's got a job to do, and I think,
Tough job. Proper fight against Adrian Granados. And you know what? Granados really fancies it as well. I feel like he's more confident now than he was the first time he come. Although he didn't fight, he still experienced everything. So now it's given him a little bit more, you know, he feels like he's got his feet here. And he fancies the job. Conor Benn is improving all the time. He's getting better and better. He's vicious, he's spiteful, he's fast. He's in unbelievable shape. I think it's going to be a war. I really do. Conor's just got to stay switched on. You know, all this talk about Broner and, you know, Khan and, you know, all this kind of stuff. Just get the job done Saturday. It's going to be a good fight for him. This is the kind of fight we need to see Conor Benn come through when we're talking about all those other names. So let's just handle business Saturday. Conor's a consummate professional. Very proud of him as well, because, you know, that was a real kick in the nuts when he tested positive for COVID. He regrouped. We didn't rush back. You know, he had his little days and week to recover, come back to the gym, tested him, you know, still firing on all cylinders, and just finished off camp, and he's good to go on Saturday.
When he comes through Saturday, is it a case of then the step up will be to that kind of level of Khan, Broner, etc.?
I think his matchmaking's been brilliant. You know, I think Formella, Vargas, Granados. It's a great run of events for someone at that stage in his career. We can all get carried away. We can all start talking about all these fights. We're going to do it right with Conor Benn. This young man has a very, very high ceiling, both commercially, both financially, and both in terms of legacy and achievements in the sport. And to do that, you have to guide a fighter properly. This is the perfect fight. Once you come through that, I mean, look, I want the Amir Khan fight. That is the fight for British boxing. And if Conor can put the kind of performance in that I think he can on Saturday, people will start really calling for that fight. There's other names, you know, there's Guerrero, there's Ortiz, Victor Ortiz, not Virgil
Ortiz.
Not yet. And there's Broner. I love the Broner fight. But that's all to come, and there's so much to come for Conor Benn, but just got to take care of Saturday first.
Probably the most underrated fight on the card between Maxi Hughes and Giovanni Straffon. Do we look at the Tennyson win as comparison to this?
We just don't know, do we? I mean, still with Lara and Straffon, there is the question mark of how good are they? You know, Lara came with a record of a rugged Mexican who can punch a little bit, but might be a little bit flat-footed. A couple of defeats, but they were a bit controversial. Or was he just had this talent that he hadn't had a platform to showcase it yet? Same with Straffon. What Tennyson did is what Maxi won't do, which is stand in front of him with his chin in the air and let his hands go. I mean, Straffon he's changed his life already, but not really yet to the levels that he could do if he keeps on winning. This team, Straffon and Lara, are extremely motivated. I mean, you know, they see these opportunities to fight here, and you have to understand, particularly Straffon, you know, I believe, you'll have to check with him, I believe that he was addicted to drugs and alcohol at the age of 11 or 12 on the streets of Mexico. And if that's not a true story, I think it's a great story, so we'll just go with it anyway. You're dealing with different kind of animals here. You understand? People talk about, you know, and I know I haven't had it tough, you haven't had it tough either. I mean, that's the truth. People talk about having it tough. These people have had it tough, mate. And they are tough mother them. And that's why they're going to be tough to beat on Saturday. And Maurizio Lara and Straffon, they brought in the 10-day rule of isolation on the red list for Mexico. They both had to fly to Croatia and finish their camp there. I saw them train out there. They're pumped for this, the pair of them. And this is going to be a tough fight. Maxi Hughes, he's going to be smarter than Tennyson was in that fight. He's just going to come under firepower as well, and he will have to trade up at times. But what a story for Maxi Hughes. You know, I mean, come in, what did he take the John O'Carroll fight, like a week's notice or something? Beat him, then went on, I think he went to do Kazakhstan?
Victor Kochukev.
Beat him, easy for you to say, and then went on and won the British title. So, but this is another level now. And it's a really, really good fight. IBO world title, so, you know, small piece of that scene that's very difficult to get into that scene. And it's a major moment for his career.
Questions about Ebanie Bridges. We know Shannon Courtenay is obviously fighting on your Liverpool show on the 9th of October. Has Shannon Courtenay got to rematch Rachel Ball before you could look at a rematch between Bridges and Courtenay?
Contractually, no. I love the Rachel Ball fight. There's that little bit of bad blood there. I love the Ebanie Bridges rematch, and ultimately these are the fights that come probably just before the unification for Shannon Courtenay. They're big money fights, particularly the Ebanie Bridges fight. And Shannon is, you know, she won't duck anybody. She wants to make as much money as possible. She wants to unify the division. So all those opportunities are there for her. She holds the belt right now. So she will make the decisions, and we will give her the options for her career. And they're all great fights. I think Ebanie, I've been really impressed with Ebanie. I've lost count of the amount of people that have come up to me recently and gone, you know, that Ebanie Bridges, she can actually really fight, you know. People looked at it as a little bit of a novelty act and stuff like that. She can fight. And when you talk about dedication and when you talk about what Conor's done, I saw you post your thing the other day about the sacrifices that he's made, and he has made many sacrifices. So has she. Don't forget, she's been here since the Shannon Courtenay fight. She hasn't gone back to Australia. She went from here, stayed in the UK, she went to Mexico because she had to quarantine. Then she trained out there. Then she went to Philadelphia to finish camp. Then she flew here and fought Beck Connolly. Then she stayed here to train, and now she's fighting again. So she deserves credit. I know that, you know, there's the weigh-in stuff and all that banter, but she can fight. And you know, she's doing herself proud because she's committed to the game. And she's got a tough fight against Gangloff, actually. She's really tough, really game. And I think that would be a real fun fight.
Have you worked out your weigh-in pose for tomorrow?
Something like that. Again.
The card also consists of Jack Bateson, Hopey Price in a step-up fight as well. Yes, talk about the rest of the card, Edward.
Really good card. You know, a lot of Leeds prospects on there as well, and particularly Jack Bateson, you know, Team GB member, very popular, sold a huge amount of tickets for this card, and a really good step up for Hopey Price against Hussein. Leeds fight, local derby, and I hope he's really coming on now. I think this is a great fight for him, and then we're going to move him on to eliminators and hopefully British title shots.
Tickets all gone?
No, still some available, probably like less than 1,000. I think we'll just about get there for the whole sellout, so it'll be just under 20,000. You'll see the setup when we go down there, pretty much the whole stadium other than the standing areas, which obviously for current circumstances wasn't permitted.
And the weigh-in is open to the public tomorrow?
It is open to the public, and it is in the... They changed the venue, so let me just get this right. Don't want to be like I must be getting old because this is what the older guys do, isn't it? Let me just have a look here. It is in the new Dock Hall, Leeds, Armouries Drive. Open to the public. Great to see people back at weigh-ins. See you down there tomorrow, 1 p.m. Doors open at 12.
Okay, right, in other news, first of all, a reaction to Sky Sports and Boxers announcement yesterday. Just a reaction from you to that, first of all.
I think it's great. I mean, when we left Sky, I didn't know if they would stay in boxing, and I didn't know how ambitious they'd be, but they have stayed in boxing, which is brilliant for boxing. Great time for the fighters, and I think there's a lot of fighters there that are going to get opportunities that they couldn't have got elsewhere. You know, some of those are fighters that might have featured down on a card and now get a chance to headline and get more attention. Some are fighters that were fighting on non-TV shows are now going to get slots on TV show undercards. So I think it's great for British boxing. And, you know, I was at Sky for a long time. I'm glad to see that people were in, you know, who were in positions through boxing there get to stay on. And great platform. I'm sure they'll do really good. I think it's great for boxing that there's something. It's great to have competition. You know, there's different levels of competition, but there's great to have competition. And you know, competition's about winning, and you can only win if you're competing. So the more the merrier. And like I said, I think it's a really good opportunity for some fighters out there to get, you know, to get some exposure that they couldn't get elsewhere, and that's great for boxing.
Obviously, people that you've worked with, Hughie Fury, Savannah Marshall, Lewis Ritson, kind of have made the move to Boxer and Sky. So can you just talk about those three fighters in particular? Because you've obviously worked, especially with Lewis Ritson, you've worked for a long time with Hughie Fury, and Savannah Marshall. Yeah,
I think all different scenarios. I mean, Lewis, I think he's doing one fight with Boxer. Those three in particular, obviously managed by MTK, and I think their advisor Daniel spoke to us and Sky, and basically this was a massive opportunity for them. Peter Fury actually texted me and said, you know, we had fights left with Hughie actually in our agreement, and he said to me, look, we've had an opportunity to go another way. And I said, okay, well, you know, you got a fight left with us or 2 fights left with us. And he said, yeah, but let's be honest, like, what are your plans for Hughie? And he was probably right. You know, I think his last fight was Marius Wack, which is probably a bigger fight than he's fighting Hammer, isn't he? And that was like the 3rd or 4th fight down our card. Now he gets a chance to headline. So it's a massive opportunity for him, and I think it's a good move for him. Lewis, again, you know, come off the Vasquez fight, come off the Ponce defeat as well. But a great opportunity for him to get back in the ring. And I don't know whether I could have got him back in the ring. Savannah, a bit different. You know, I think that we had some opportunities for Savannah. But again, she's been with Sky for, 8 years? She's been a scholar. She's very close to Adam Smith. And she's now going to be a big focus of what they're doing. And I think the argument will always be, when you have a stable of our size, some people won't get the recognition and, you know, the attention that they deserve unless they get to the top of that tree. And a lot of people are going to go in there and get recognition and get more attention. I think you can't knock them for that.
Obviously, the acquisition of Clarissa Shields as well, the pathway is there.
I don't know. I'm presuming that's UK TV rights. I don't know what the deal is there. But, yeah, look, I tried to make that fight quite a lot. It's going to take a lot to make that fight because I know how much money she wants. And, obviously, Savannah can't box in America either at the moment. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that will get made. I hope it does. It's a good fight. But, you know, I think for those guys, it's a great opportunity. And like I said, I think it's great that Sky are staying in boxing in some capacity.
Just want to ask you some of the comments from Johnny Nelson and after that Adam Smith. Johnny Nelson obviously made some comments in an interview yesterday saying that they don't need a front man as such. I think there was a few references to yourself, and it being that part of it being a big void to kind of fill. So is that right? Do you think they don't need a front man? I thought everyone kind of needed a front man to some degree.
Of course you need a front man. I mean, look, I think the whole selling point, you know, from there is that, you know, Eddie Hearn was front and centre of everything, and now it's all about the fighters. It's always about the fighters. But when the fighters are training and when the fighter's sleeping, it's about the promotional vehicle that is driving the sport and driving these fighters and their careers forward. So I saw the interview with Johnny, and it was actually Umar. I think Umar said to him, you know, on fight week, Eddie Hearn would do hours and hours of interviews pushing the show all week. So who's going to do that now? And he said, no, we don't need a frontman. Well, but it's you know, you got a guy there who is pushing the show for hours and hours all week. That's my job. He also said, you know, to replace Eddie Hearn, they're big shoes to fill. You can't replace me. It's impossible. I'm that good. So there's no point in trying to replace me because you can't replace me. It's impossible. So I think what they're doing is sensible because it's more like, look, we can't replace, you know, this loudmouth showman, he's gone. So we're just going to do it this way. But you can't do it like that. If you're promoting shows, if you've got a vision if you've got a passion, you have to preach it. Because if you don't preach it to people, they're not going to watch, they're not going to follow, they're not going to listen. You have to buy into a concept, buy into an idea, and be a believer in what people are doing and what they're getting up every day in the morning to do, which is to drive a sport forward. Speak about the fighters with passion, with positivity. Let people engage and get on that journey with them. If there's no voice, if there's no one doing that, you can't just rely on Sky Sports News to say, oh, here's a fighter, how are you? You have to, there has to be a front man leading this forward.
Surely that person's Adam Smith, though, surely.
No, man, he's a commentator.
But he can lead, surely. He's hosted press conferences before.
Yeah, but that's not Adam's role. I mean, Adam is a fantastic commentator. He's a great boxing guy, but that's a promoter's job. That's a promoter's job. And you can't hide as a promoter. You can't say, oh, I'm just going to be the guy. You've got people like Al Heyman, who's a manager, right? He's an advisor. He can sit in the background and not turn up to shows. If you're a promoter, it's your name on the poster, mate. It's your licence that's being used by the British Boxing Board of Control. You've got to come out, you've got to preach it, you've got to stand in front of people with passion and deliver your concept, deliver your dreams. And that's about leading a fighter's career. So, fighters now have loads of different choices of where to go, and it comes down to who do you want and who do you believe in to guide and run your career. And there's loads of options now in worldwide boxing. There's never been a better time for a British fighter. You look at people coming out of the Olympics. God, I mean, they're going to get great financial deals. They've got all these options of where to go. But I disagree with Johnny's comments, and Johnny knows how good we are. But a promoter is there to promote. A promoter is there to make a city know, to make boxing fans, to make casual fans know that there's a fight going on. That's what you do. And you have to, all these concepts are really nice and they're really fluffy, so preach it. Get out there. Yesterday, they should have been talking to all the media about this new plan and vision they have for boxing.
That's exactly what they did do.
But what are you talking about? Not really. Who did?
Well, they did do a series of prior to the announcement or before the announcement.
Yeah, but the promoter's got to get out there, and this is what we do. Obviously, Calla has done a deal with Sky, with Chris Eubank. Again, people have their knockers at Calla. He'd get out there. He'll stand in front of you for an hour and preach it. That's what we do.
They've got options there, haven't they? If they've got Calla, they've got, like you said, you're saying Adam's a commentator, but Adam can still hold that role.
Yeah, they've got boxer.
And Ben Shalom, a boxer, yeah.
But these guys, they've got to get out there and they've got to push it, because that's what we do. As you said, I'm about to go in there and do 400 interviews with people, pushing the show. That's the promoter's job.
Eddie, let me ask you about Adam Smith's comments regarding Anthony Joshua. Just to quote, I'd be silly to say we'd be happy to let him go off into the sunset. We'll be fighting very hard to maintain our contract with AJ. I think he's a very loyal guy. I think he will stay with Sky.
What are you asking me? What? I think Adam's right. I think AJ's a very loyal guy. We've worked with him for his debut. We'll do so for the rest of his career. That decision is, it's to be discussed. Plenty of options out there for Anthony Joshua. Sky, great option as well. They've got a great pay-per-view product. He's coming in to a time where there is so many new broadcasters, so many disruptive broadcasters, so much money. But he's focused on Alexander Usyk, and the rest will follow after.
So you're not necessarily expecting him to stay with yourself and Dazn?
It's not myself and Dazn. Anthony Joshua is the relationship between him and Matchroom is not linked to a broadcaster. So he's with Matchroom, and that won't change. What might change is his broadcaster, and that's to be discussed with 258 and Freddie and myself and the team and Anthony. But it's not, he doesn't have to make a decision between Matchroom and Dazn or Sky. He's with Matchroom, and we're partners, and we will make our thoughts clear to him about what we feel is the best options for his career. And like always, he is the absolute 100% boss, and he will make the decisions. But whether that's with Sky or with someone else, we'll see. But the options are there for him, and like I said, right now the focus is Alexander Usyk.
You very strategically put your own announcement out confirming Dillian White's UK return on October the 30th.
The reason we put that out is to let fight fans know. There's, when someone announces shows in October in terms of tickets and going on sale, obviously you want to let people know that you've got your own monster show in the same month, because if someone goes out then and buys a ticket and then you announce your show and everyone says, I can't believe I bought a ticket for this now, I've got Dillian White 2 weeks later. So it was just really more for fight fans to say, just to let you know, October 30, save your date, absolute monster card coming to the O2, like what you're seeing in Leeds, like what you're seeing in Liverpool, and you're going to see the same at the O2. So opponent to be announced possibly over the weekend or early next week, just tying that up now.
Chris Arreola in the front running?
Definitely a runner. The EBU actually ordered Marco Hook the other day to fight Dillian White for the European title. It was a bit of a curveball. You've got Jermaine Franklin as well, who's accepted the fight, to be fair to him. I like Arreola. I think Dillian likes Arreola. It's a hell of a fight. It's a war. And Dillian's up for that. So we'll just finalise it over the next couple of days.
On that card, we're assuming kind of some of Dillian's boys like Alan Babbage. Now, I don't know if you saw a little chat between Alan Babbage and Lucas Brown the other day. Any interest to you?
I don't mind that fight. I think it's a good fight. Alan Babbage will be on the card. There'll also be at least one world title fight. There'll be a big unification fight on that card. Probably 2 world title fights, actually. And probably a British title fight. A couple of young prospects. Dillian's guys, going to be a monster night at the O2. And I can't wait to go back there. Dillian hasn't boxed at the O2. Dillian hasn't boxed in the UK in front of crowds for over 2 years. So it's going to be
reverse.
Yeah. So it's going to be a big night.
So you look to announce that next week.
Yes, at the latest.
Okay. Dazn pricing. I know it's not really your kind of department, but I will ask you about it as you're here. But yeah, made the move that we all knew was coming, $7.99. The response you've had from that is
very positive. I mean, I still say, people, I can't believe it's gone up from $1.99. It's like, I mean, it's always been very clear that was a special introductory price. Of course, that's not a price that can ever be one for the future. $7.99, incredible price. I think people presumed it was going to be $9.99. It's a tremendous price for the product. And when you look at it, we keep talking about these pay-per-view nights. We've got, obviously, this Saturday is a massive, massive card. You've got Dillian White October 30th. We know that Dillian White, that night would be a pay-per-view night. It's £20, right? In December, we have another fight, which is 100% a pay-per-view night, right? So I had a little argument with someone on Instagram the other day. He said, it's $7.99. I said, yeah. He said, do you watch Dillian White fights? Yeah, I've never missed a Dillian White fight. I said, okay, so one night was £20. You're now paying $7.99 for the same fight and getting a whole month of action free for our UK cards and all our cards around the world. Yeah, I haven't really looked at it like that. So, I think it's tremendous value. They've already built a huge subscriber base in the UK. We believe they're going to stay, and the content will keep coming. We've got Leeds this week, big card in Barcelona next Saturday. We've got Austria on the Friday night as well. We've got our US cards to be announced, hopefully live on transmission this Saturday as well. So Smith Fowler coming up in October, with Dillian White in October as well. It's tremendous value for fight fans.
If this AJ fight with Usyk had wound up on Dazn, would that have obviously changed the situation regarding pricing?
No, it was never an option because he has one fight left on his contract with Sky.
So if he does fight on Dazn, is that going to be separate to this $7.99?
To be discussed. I mean, there's lots of interesting things happening in the industry right now, and watch this space.
Bit coy there.
No, I don't know. I mean, it's that's a modelling. AJ will. I'm never one to say pay-per-view is dead. It's not. It's just that people are getting a little bit agitated, as they have done with me for years and years, about what is pay-per-view and what is not pay-per-view. Anthony Joshua will always be a star pay-per-view attraction.
Do you know if there's any talks about getting the Dazn app on the planner?
On Sky, you mean?
On the planner, whether it's Virgin, Sky, whatever, so it's that easily accessible.
Again, there's a lot of things going on at the moment, and again, I'm not a representative for Dazn, so that's a question you'll have to ask to them. What we have seen is tremendous viewership through Fight Camp. Again, our viewership for every week of Fight Camp was, I think, more than double our previous show on Sky, our Saturday Night Fight Night in Newcastle. So it's going tremendously well. These people are extremely innovative. They know exactly what they're doing. They're going to be driving subscriptions. They're going to be driving viewership. This is our first sort of proper show on Dazn, away from Fight Camp. And all those things are a natural progression for a company as smart as Dazn.
Have you stopped promoting in the US?
No. Just someone said to me the other day, Hearn, have you done anything in the US this year? I said, yeah, I broke the world record for attendance for Canelo against Billy Joe Saunders 2 months ago. Oh yeah, shit, man. So we have gone quiet, and to be honest with you, it's purely because of Canelo. We were planning and waiting on Canelo Alvarez's decision. He was going to fight Dimitri Bivol. He didn't. So we will be announcing our October show, hopefully live on transmission this weekend. We have, I think, 2 shows planned for October. We have a show planned for November. We have a show planned for December. And also we have, I think, 3 Mexican shows as well to roll into that. So yeah, we're very much alive and breathing. Everyone loves to get on a bandwagon and sort of say, what's happening? But yeah, we're in a great place in America. Our reputation through Canelo, to be fair, and what we've done with in that space has been incredible. And looking forward to being back there for another fight of the year in October.
Do you know what's funny? When you were doing loads of American shows and half neglecting or perceived to be neglecting the UK market, people go, what are you doing with the UK? No. Now you've got a run of UK shows, you're neglecting the US.
Apparently, yeah. So we're definitely not neglecting the US.
What happened to September the 18th?
Just time again. We were going to go with a Mikey Garcia card. We ended up with sort of 3.5, 4 weeks left. So we plan now to go sort of early October with, as I said, a massive fight. And our plan is in place. Obviously, you've got the Crawford-Porter purse bids, which were disappointingly postponed. They're supposed to take place today. So we'll see what happens with them as well.
Have you seen, sorry, just moving away from this because I know the press conference is about to start, this Billy Joe Saunders and Chris Eubank little spat that appeared yesterday from some of Eubank's comments. Billy Joe Saunders saying he'd fight him for $5 million. Are you looking at that at all?
I've not discussed it. I'm just letting Bill have his rest. He had a great fight last time, but a tough fight. I'd love to see Billy back in the ring. He's got fighters that he manages as well, and I think he needs boxing. I think it's good for him, his life in some respect, and hopefully he gets back, doing what he does. The Eubank fight will always be a big fight. I think, realistically, I don't see it being an option for December. To make sure Billy's firing and fit and over that injury. But Billy's a hell of a fighter, and I think if he wants to fight again, he's made a lot of money. If he wants to fight again, a lot of people are going to want to watch him fight, and he's very, very talented.
Anything going on with Khan and Brook?
No, my focus is on Khan against Conor Benn, to be honest with you. There's a couple of discussions about a couple of other things, so we'll see what happens on Saturday.
Thoughts on this Oscar Valdez situation?
I think till we know, we don't know enough information, do we? We've seen a couple of tweets from the media. I think we've all learned to let this play out and let the investigations take place, and then you can see it from there. So don't know a lot about it, but obviously anything like that is concerning. I'm sure it'll be dealt with, and the investigations will take place, and we'll go from there.
When do we hear a formal announcement, do you think, for Plant and Canelo?
Well, there's been a formal announcement. But
a formal announcement.
A little bit, I noticed with like Pacquiao Spence, it's all a bit weird. Like someone tweets about it and then you don't actually see a formal announcement, and then you think actually there's a fight happening, and then you do, and then there's not a press conference. I don't know. So it's not our promotion, we're not involved, so I don't really know how that process is going to play out.
Final one before I let you go. Jake Paul, did you watch him and Tyron Woodley?
I didn't watch him, but I woke up and then I watched some of it. I thought, look, the fight is what the fight's going to be. But you've got to take your hat. Look, what Jake Paul and Logan Paul are doing is quite amazing, isn't it? And the show, it was packed. And boxing's a tough sport to crack in America. We've found that. It's not like it is in the UK. And I think they're doing a good job. I think it's about to fizzle out, I really do. I think any novelty act only stays novel for a certain period of time. And it's always about the product, and the product isn't actually great. The idea's great, the hype's great, but what you're actually watching just isn't very good. I think he should fight Conor McGregor. I think just like he's going to get beat sooner or later, so why? Just go and fight Conor McGregor, make loads of money. It's actually quite a good fight. I don't know how they're going to make the weight up. Could Jake get to like 170? I don't know. But just make the fight. Let them both earn a few quid and then walk off into the sunset. Do you know what I mean?
You would never get involved in something like that, would you?
You would for Conor McGregor, Jake Paul. I said I wouldn't do a YouTube fight again. And I don't even think I said that. I said I'm not looking to. And I would never rule it out. But it's not, I don't know. I'm focused on what we're doing with the zone and the schedule we're building, and I don't want to sound cheesy, but like when I watched Jake Paul against Tyron Woodley, it was quite hard to watch. Like the show's great, and I think Jake is a genius, by the way, and I like him. And I like Logan. Logan's super smart. It's just not that good to watch for me as a boxing fan. But I don't think it hurts anything. Let them do their thing, and it's amazing what they've achieved.
Just let everyone do their thing.
Just do your thing, mate. You do your thing, I'll do my thing. And we'll see whose thing's better.
Slight difference in between basically what's in your bank and what's in my bank. And that's what it comes down to, mate.
No, it's not. It's not. It comes down to happiness.
If I had your money, I could do a better job than you.
Don't be daft. Don't be daft.
Eddie Hearn, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. Rock on Leeds press conference is starting in 7 minutes.
Leeds live this Saturday. It's a massive, massive show. The rematch, the career saver. Josh Warrington against Maurizio Lara 2. Massive fight, the undisputed lightweight women's world championship, the legend of the sport, the trailblazer, Katie Taylor against former world champion and mandatory challenger Jennifer Han. What a fight. Conor Benn against Adrian Granados, the destroyer against El Tigre. It's going to be an absolute war. It's another Britain against Mexico clash. And when we talk about Britain against Mexico clash, another upsetter, Giovanni Straffon, who knocked out James Tennyson in 1 round, will fight the Cinderella man, Maxie Hughes, for the IBO world title. We got Ebanie Bridges back in action. We've got to step up for Hobie Price. We've got Jack Bateson. We've got undefeated Leeds talent as well. This is an incredible show, and we've got the best production team in the business. This week, it's Laura Woods leading the way with Tony Bellew, spinning it over to Chris Lloyd and Darren Barker early in the night, and then we step over to Mike Costello and Andy Lee for the main fights on the card. This is what we do. This is what we love to do. 20,000 people at Headingley. Do not miss it live on DAZN. We'll see you there. Cheers.